Hello and welcome back to Curiosity Mine and to a quick and somewhat unplanned video. I was watching the latest episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the newest Star Trek series featuring the adventures of Captain Christopher Pike and the USS Enterprise prior to Captain Kirk. It's a great series, I do recommend, 10 out of 10, would warp again. Anyway, in the latest episode, there's a brief scene where Lieutenant La'an Noonien Singh is in her quarters and she looks in her drawers or storage unit to find something, and we get a nice shot of the trinkets that La'an has kept over the years. In the drawer, there's a medallion and a marble and a bracelet and her cadet's insignia, which is cool, but there's also this, which is interesting. That is quite possibly a Knobby. A Knobby is a nodule of opal, in this case probably from Lightning Ridge, New South Wales, Australia. If you would like to learn more about Lightning Ridge and opal mining and the opal industry, the opal economy, opalized fossils and all manner of other opal related things, just check out every other video on this channel. You'll probably find something that's suitable for your interests. But back to the Knobby. Knobbies are formed when liquid silica has seeped into a bubble or air pocket in the claystone millions of years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, and over time solidified into opal. This piece in the storage unit has a few telltale signs on it that potentially might identify it as a Lightning Ridge Knobby. For one, you can see various layers of formation with some white ceramic capping, grey potch or common opal, and the sandstone that the Knobby formed in. I've shown this still image to a couple of opal experts who have not been able to conclusively confirm or deny its Knobby status, shall we say, largely due to the incredible variety of shapes and sizes that Knobbies can form in, and also because of a couple of features that aren't totally consistent with this being a Knobby, but aren't conclusively a fail either. One example is this messy, broken area, which doesn't seem to show conchoidal fracturing, which is a kind of break that's shaped like a crater or a spiral. It's similar to the kind of fracture you see in glass. In my personal, non-expert opinion, I think this area is a combination of opal formed in cracks and fissures and random fracturing on a smaller scale. It's not one single break, which might be why we don't see the conchoidal fracturing, but I'm far from the expert on this. I've also shown this image to some opal miners, and the consensus so far is that it definitely looks like a Knobby, for what that's worth. If it is, I'm inclined to think that this piece is from Lightning Ridge, largely from the colour. It appears to be a pale bluish grey Knobby embedded in pinkish coloured sandstone. The colouring in the shot, in the episode, and in this still image, it's tinted very blue, so it's difficult to tell for sure, but I've colour corrected it here based on the white piece of paper in the bottom of the drawer. I've used that as a white balance level, and with that adjustment it looks even more like a Lightning Ridge Knobby. However, this could just be that blue dress, white dress thing that was all over the internet a few years ago all over again. The sandstone on the right hand side of the stone also tells a big part of this story, because it looks like this piece has been through an agitator, which is a converted cement mixer that's used by opal miners to wear down the sandstone on opal dirt that's been mined to hopefully reveal the opal inside. Over a few days in an agitator, a large chunk of hard sandstone like this might have been will end up having this very rounded shape, while the harder opal, the stuff on the left hand side, stays quite rough. It's a pretty distinct formation. Knobbies like this are what opal miners are looking for. They might potentially contain gem quality precious opal. That's the point of the game. Here are a couple of examples of some pretty innocent looking Knobbies that, when opened up, reveal some surprises inside. Thank you very much to Down to Earth Opals at Lightning Ridge for letting me film these gorgeous pieces. Maybe the Star Trek Knobby has something like this inside it too. We may never know. So yeah, La'an has what appears to be a Knobby for some reason. I wonder if the character's secretly a rockhound, or maybe this piece of what looks like Lightning Ridge opal is standing in for another alien rock that's more significant to the story, or maybe, just maybe, one of the production designers or set dressers had a souvenir laying around from a visit to the Australian opal fields that they just had to sneak into an episode somehow. Whatever it is, it's really cool. A couple of other things about Opal in Star Trek, because I seriously doubt that I'll ever have the opportunity to broach this subject again. Opal has only really been mentioned once in Star Trek. Apparently there is an Opal C on the planet Betazed, where Will Riker and Deanna Troi had planned to have their honeymoon in Star Trek Nemesis back in 2002. Not the best Star Trek movie, I must admit, but the idea of an Opal C is quite fun. And one more Opal fact, the 2016 movie Star Trek Beyond had Lieutenant Nyota Uhura wearing an opal pendant, supposedly of Vulcan origin. In the story, the pendant is made from a Vulcan mineral called Vakaya, and it actually serves a purpose in the plot of the movie, but I won't tell you that because I'm not here to give you movie spoilers. The opal in the prop pendant, though, is unfortunately synthetic opal, or an opal simulant, but there's a very good reason for that. When costumes and props are made for big budget movies, they generally have to build several of them in case they get lost or damaged. If you lose a key piece of someone's costume during filming, it could literally cost thousands of dollars per hour to fix that problem. Sometimes they also build stunt versions of props or costumes that might have more flexible materials that might not hurt a stunt performer or something like that. In the case of Uhura's pendant, they actually made 3 copies. One was used for Zoe Sultana as Uhura, another was for her stunt double and stand-in, and a third one was made as a safety measure in case anything happened to the other 2. And that's the reason it was made from synthetic opal. Genuine opal has the pretty amazing property of always being unique. To make 3 matching necklaces with the same opal pattern and colours would have been very difficult. This is a problem that jewelers and lapidarians have with opal all the time. If you want to make, for example, a set of earrings, it's really hard to find matching stones. Usually they'll use 2 pieces from a split, like what Vicky from Down to Earth Opals was showing us in the clips earlier. But by using simulated opal, the prop department for Star Trek Beyond could have 3 pieces cut for Uhura's necklaces that all pretty much looked the same. If you know of any other instances of opal showing up in a television show or a movie in an unexpected way, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any feedback on whether this piece of rock in Star Trek Strange New Worlds is or is not opal, and is or is not from Australia, and is or is not from Lightning Ridge, please let me know in the comments. I'm quite prepared to have a very enthusiastic discussion about this one. This video was made because I watched an episode of Star Trek and I saw a rock in it. Special thanks to Down to Earth Opals for their beautiful opal specimens. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to Curiosity Mine on YouTube and following along on all of the usual social media channels. The links are down in the description. And thank you for watching.